Russian folk art of a rose. The rose was base coated in white, but you could base coat it in pink or yellow or blue. And then the linseed oil applied. And now alizarin crimson is going to go in the very center of the flower. It's important not to have the brush too full of paint. You look at that brush. There's plenty of paint, but the paint only comes approximately halfway up that brush. Now, notice that the shadow was applied on the lower petals, in the center, and behind. That's important. Deepening the shadow with a little sap green and alizarin crimson, which makes a rich brown color. Now, taking a little bit of white in the brush that we just did the tulip with, we'll begin to create the lower petals. Notice that we start with the center group and pull toward yourself, turning your surface as you work. Pull toward yourself. Now that's, again, almost an ice blue color. It was the dirty brush from the tulip and then picking up more white. Notice also how much of the shadow is remaining. If you cover up the shadow, you're going to be in trouble. Variations of brush strokes, comma strokes, and S-type strokes are very, very important. Turn again as you work. Press, lift, and press and lift. Turn the work. Press, lift, press, lift. Continue now with the back petals and pay attention to the little light edges. You're going to connect some strokes to those light edges here very shortly. Load the brush, good and full of paint, and begin to create the base or bowl in almost half circle strokes. But notice how this ties in to the back of the flower. Now on the edge of the brush, pull up little comma strokes. This takes practice, but it's worth every minute of it. Notice how the edge of the strokes now connect, and you really begin to see a rose take shape. All right, this is what we call the primary or the main color, which is basically an ice blue color that has been dirtied slightly by the shadows. Remember, when you use white for highlight, the paint should be very, very thin, a very creamy, almost soft, almost melting butter consistency. The highlight stroke is quickly added. A sloppy comma, press and lift, pull toward yourself as you paint. Don't push away from yourself. The squirrel hair brushes are lovely, and I have squirrel hair brushes available for you. You can write to me for a catalog sheet, and we'll be glad to give you the information on them, or use your filberts or your rounds, or even try your flat brushes. But I think you'll find a more rounded shape will create a more beautiful rose. Again, more white, highlighting across the front of the flower, comma strokes, starting at the base and building towards the top. Press, lift, use the edge of the brush, accenting, building, and creating a truly beautiful flower. Let's look back at our rose, and the outlining, the embellishing of the outlining is being done with white. And then in the center, tiny dots of yellow added. It's absolutely magnificent. I want you to see